Yes, what's up, wonderful people? Welcome to the Hosted by Spikes podcast. I do hope that you're doing fantastic and you're happy to be with us on this particular platform where we get to connect and make sure that we are staying interactive on all social friends. Remember, you can find me on Twitter or rather X, which is Monyaji Spikes. You can also catch me on Instagram, which is Hosted by Spikes on Instagram. How are you doing? How are you feeling? I do hope that you're doing fantastic and I do hope that everything is working out well for you and yours. And this is actually just a few days into the month of August, where we do have the holidays right here in the 254. And I do hope that you are also looking forward to that as well, to be able to travel, to connect with family, to connect with friends over the holiday and that holiday season. And on this particular platform, we always get to look forward to engaging with you on matters that have to do with us as a people. Whether it be it we're talking about the melanated people right here on the continent or even off the continent. We do hope that collectively we can be able to come together and put our minds together and actually add value to the conversations that are happening around us regarding some of the most pertinent issues, whether it be political matters, social issues, economic issues, and other matters. That is why we do have the Hosted by Spikes podcast. Remember, you can follow us, like I did say, on our social media platform, Hosted by Spikes on Facebook, Hosted by Spikes on Instagram, and also Monyaji Spikes on X or Twitter. And it has been a minute, sometimes we do go quiet. We try to recollect our minds and we try to, in Swahili, we do say kuzikusanya. And, you bring together, you pull together yourself together and pull your mind together. And so that you are able to reflect on things in the rightful way. As it is right now, when we talk about our beautiful continent, there are so many things that are going on right now. And one of the things that has been going on is the privatization of state corporations. That is one of the things that has been going on right now. And if you look at this particular move by many governments that are privatizing state corporations, the move has actually been regarded by some people as ill-planned. Because if you look at what is happening, you do realize that, for example, in Kenya, we did have a Kenya pipeline company, which is the KPC, being privatized, and it was floated out there in the stock exchange, and people want to buy the shares of that. But if you look at most of these state corporations, they have underperformed for so long. And one of the things that have necessitated or have pushed the government to privatize corporations, state parastatals raising in Kenya, this is mostly because of the poor performance of these state corporations. They have been performing poorly, and that is why they are being privatized. But let me know, what are your thoughts when it comes to privatization of state corporations? Do you think this is the rightful move? For many years, if you look at corporations such as, for example, the Kenya Airways, if you look at where the government has a big stake, if you look at the Kenya Pipeline Company, and also even the postal service, you do find that their performance, even when it comes to the financial statements, most of them have actually been operating at a loss for so many years. And the government has to keep on injecting more money to make sure that these companies are staying afloat, not paying wages, or the financial obligation that these particular companies do have. It becomes a very, very big issue because most of the government, resources or the state resources are actually being pumped into a place where we cannot see profit from these particular corporations. But let me know, what are your thoughts about the privatization of state corporations right here on the continent of Africa? Would love to know. I've given you an example of the state corporation, which was the Kenya Pipeline Company being privatized. And it is not the only one, being privatized. There are so many others that are actually also, headed in that particular same direction. But I would love to know what your thoughts are when it comes to the privatization of state corporations on the continent. And also the way they privatize, the process itself. Some of the times you do find this particular process not, being done haphazardly. It's not done in the right kind of way. And therefore, even when it comes to the valuation, the valuation of these assets, I do find that the valuation is not right. It has been valued in the wrongful way. And even for one of the things that has actually led to this particular non-performance of these state corporations is, the appointments to these state corporations. You do find like the leadership of the country. You do find in some cases the president has to appoint these leaders of the parastatals. And he will appoint people that are not really quite fit. Maybe people who do not have a proper track record or performance record in different capacities or previous capacities. And then they are appointed to state corporations, and they know that this is actually funded by the government, and they know the government will bail it out, and therefore they siphon. A lot of corruption going on within state corporations. But my question is to you: what are your thoughts about privatization of state corporations in Africa? Do you think this is actually steer the economies of these particular countries forward? Case in point, Kenya and the Kenya Pipeline Company. What are your thoughts? I would really love to hear from you and know what your feedback is regarding the privatization of state corporations. Because I would really love to hear from you. I do have an applause. For the people that have followed, hosted by Spikes on Instagram, that is for you. I also do have an applause for the people that have followed us on X, Spikes. And of course, I would really love to ask anyone that has not followed us so far to actually do the same. Please do the same. And it would actually be important for you to actually follow us. Like I did say, you can follow us, hosted by Spikes on Instagram, hosted by Spikes on Facebook, and Monyeji Spikes on Instagram and Facebook as well. My pleasure to bring you these particular matters and just to shine a spotlight on these particular issues, and I'll get to report on how they affect us right here as an African people, as a melanated people. The point is to have a point of connection and a platform where we can discuss matters that have to do with us as a people right here on the continent and off the continent. Right now, the World Cup is going, and we're looking forward to see how some of the best players, some of the players who performed at the World Cup, the African players who performed at the World Cup. We are looking forward to see what is the move for them, whether will be actually taken up by teams, or whether they should be, performing in their own local leagues in their own different countries. For example, Ivory Coast. We also did have some of these particular countries that performed. Cape also did a whole lot, and we shall be looking forward to see what happens with some of those particular players that are featured prominently on the World Cup. I would really love to see how it works out for them, whether they will actually be signed into their local leagues, and what moves these particular players will actually do make. Nonetheless, I want to say so much. It is always a delight to have your company, and in case you would like us to focus on any other matter that you want us to bring focus to, please make sure that you write to us on spikes@gmail.com, and you can also connect, like I did say, on Instagram, hosted by Spikes, and also on X, on Spikes on X. And I would love to know what is your feedback regarding some of the pertinent matters that we get to spotlight right here. Like I was talking about the issue of the privatization of state corporations. South Africa has also been on the spotlight. South Africa is a part of BRICS, and there's so many agendas that have been carried on by the BRICS. And I do feel sometimes like South Africa, not just South Africa, but even the continent as at large. Does the continent have that particular power? Of course, no. And I'm talking about power to make things happen. For example, there are policies that are brought up by the BRICS, and you do find, you ask the question, is Africa prominently involved in the critical decision-making process of BRICS? All of these other world global corporations that are and platforms or associations that are made to cause about changes in different spheres, whether be it global economic sphere or political sphere. That has been also another important issue that we need to be questioning, whether we as an African people, especially African countries, are positioning themselves and what moves are we making, what power moves are being made to make sure that Africa also has that important say when it comes to the decision making that is going on right now with not just BRICS, but even with, like the G8, all these these are the global outfits, and what effect or what consequence is Africa's participation consequential or inconsequential? That is the question we shall be making in our next conversation. Nonetheless, much peace and love. I want to wish you a productive rest of the day. Make sure you keep it hosted by Spikes Podcast. Much peace and love. I love and appreciate you. Till next time. Go ahead.